Imagine walking into class one day to talk to your best friend. You notice on your friend's wrist that there are several fresh razor blade cuts. You ask your friend about the cuts, and they are not willing to give up the information that you have asked for. Your friend could be affected by a type of mood disorder. Today, I will educate you on the types of mood disorders. The three most common types of mood disorders, according to mentalhealth.gov, are depression, bipolar disorder, and self harm. The first type of mood disorder that I'm going to explain to you is depression. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, there are many forms of depression. The first form of depression is major depression. Major depression is very severe. It affects the way you sleep, eat, work, study, and the way you enjoy your life. The next type of depression is persistent depressive disorder. Persistent depressive disorder is a disorder that goes over a span of 2 years. You may have many severe depression attacks or episodes, and you may have several long, drawn out episodes of less intense feelings. Uh, there are other types of depression, such as uh, psychotic depression. Psychotic depression is a type of depression where uh, the person has severe depression and also has a mental illness, such as schizophrenia. Another type of depression is postpartum depression, which happens after a mother gives birth to her baby and realizes how much responsibility that baby is to her, and she falls into depression because of that. The last type of depression is seasonal affective disorder, or SAD. SAD is caused by a lack of natural light. So it happens during the beginning of winter, whenever winter starts. Uh, I actually had a teacher in my high school who was affected by this disorder, and in the middle of the winter during the school year, he would take a 2 week trip to Florida and with his family so he could relax and get all that sunlight that he was deprived of during winter. Um, there are causes of depression. Depression is most likely caused by a combination of genetic uh, and psychological and environmental factors. So either you're born with the capability of developing a depressive disorder, or depression happens because of something in your life, like a traumatic experience. There are treatments for depression. Uh, Treatments for depression include antidepressants. Antidepressants, what they do is they affect the neurotransmitters in your brain, such as serotonin, norepinephrine, and dopamine, which regulate your mood. So now that we covered depression, the next mood disorder I'm going to explain to you is bipolar disorder. So what is bipolar disorder? According to mayoclinic.org, bipolar disorder is a disorder that causes extreme shifts in mood. For example, like 1 minute you can be very happy, the next minute you're extremely sad, and this is for no reason. Um, just like depression, different types of bipolar disorder are out there as well. Um, According to helpguide.org, there are three types of bipolar disorder. The first bipolar disorder type is bipolar 1, which is a combination of mania and depression. Mania is extreme happiness, or happiness to the point of where you're delusional and you see things that are not there. And then you fall on the opposite scale, which is depression, on the opposite side of the scale, which is depression, where you're extremely sad and you feel helpless and hopeless. The next type of bipolar disorder is bipolar 2, which is hypermania and depression. Hypermania is a type of mania that is less intense. So you're happy and hyper, but you're not to the point of delusions. So it's like you're on a sugar high. And then on the other side of that, you also fall back into the major depression just as you would in bipolar 1. You become very sad and you feel hopeless. You feel like there's nothing you can do in your life to make it better. The third type of bipolar disorder is cyclothymia, which is hypomania and depression. It's like the middle ground. You're not extremely excessively happy to the point of delusions, but you're not to the point where you're so depressed that you're suicidal. The treatments for bipolar disorder are like medication. You can get a prescription from a doctor that'll lessen the symptoms of bipolar disorder. A good family support system really does affect the outcomes of bipolar disorder, and you can have a therapist that you can go to help you treat your disorder. The third and final disorder that I'm going to explain to you is about self harm. According to the NSPCC.org, there are many forms of self harm, such as cutting, burning, bruising, hair pulling, poisoning yourself, and overdosing. Several causes of self harm are you feel lonely, you're sad, you're angry, you're just numb about your entire life, and you feel as if, or you feel as if you have lack of control in your and they feel that the only way to cope with the stress in their lives and the feelings in their lives is to hurt themselves. Uh, how can you help somebody who has like a self harm disorder or feels as if they need to hurt themselves? You need to build their confidence. You need to tell them things that are good about themselves. You cannot tear them down. You shouldn't tear them down. That's gonna make the disorder worse. You need to be understanding about why they do that, what they do, and you need to show trust. You need to make sure that they trust you, and then you trust them, and you're not gonna go out and about and just tell everybody about what is going on in this person's life. That's just gonna make the disorder worse. And finally, you got to figure out what triggers the self harm. This helps you get to the bottom line and helps you get on the road of recovery. Overall, as we can see, mood disorders dramatically affect people's lives. I have directed my focus on three of the most common types of mood disorders: depression, bipolar disorder, and self harm. For the people affected by these disorders, every day is a tremendous battle just to live their everyday lives.